Hi, fourth grade. Today we're going to talk a little bit about biographies and autobiographies. What are they? What's the difference? Do you know? Here in the library, we have these signs that are on top of our biography, autobiography section. And it says that biographies are a nonfiction text, which means they are totally real. They actually happen. And they tell about a person's life, but they're written by someone else. So if someone was going to write a story about you, real true events that happened in your life, but it's written by someone else, that would be a biography. An autobiography is an account of a person's life that is written by the individual themselves. So if I were to write a story about my own life, with real true events that happened in my life, that's an autobiography. If you write about your life and what actually happened, that's an autobiography. And in our library, we have a section of biography and autobiography books, and they're put together. And at the top of all of the shelves in the library, there are different colored tape. The biography, autobiography section has black tape at the top. There are two shelves at the very front of the library by the windows. And because I don't get to read to you a whole lot in fourth grade, I wanted to read to you do you know which one it is? Biography or autobiography? It's called Amelia Earhart by Will Mara. So it's about Amelia Earhart, written by Will Mara. Say biography, real true events about a person, written by somebody else. So I think Amelia Earhart is super interesting, super exciting, because I love mysteries. So I'm going to read this to you, and my challenge to you is that sometime during this week, in your home or online, look up a biography or an autobiography about somebody and learn something about a famous person that interests you. Amelia Earhart by Will Mara. Do you ever dream of flying an airplane? Amelia Earhart did. She was the first woman to fly alone across the Atlantic Ocean. Earhart was born on July 24, 1897, in her grandparents' house in Atchison, Kansas. From the beginning, Earhart was not afraid to do the same things as boys. She played most sports. She climbed trees. She even liked to hunt in the woods. As a young woman, Earhart learned to be a nurse. Then she went to Canada to help soldiers who had been hurt during World War I. Earhart went to live with her parents in California in 1920. While she was there, she took her first ride in an airplane. After that, Earhart knew she wanted to be a pilot. Soon, she was taking flying lessons. Earhart wanted to do things no woman had ever done before. The first thing she did was fly higher than any other woman pilot. She took her plane up to 14,000 feet. That's higher than some clouds. A man named George Putnam wanted to help Earhart become famous as a woman pilot. He asked her to be the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. Earhart said yes. She went as a passenger with two other pilots, Wilmer Stultz and Louis Slim Gordon. The newspapers printed stories about Earhart's flight. She was in a big parade, too. After that, Earhart wrote a book about flying. In 1931, she married George Putnam. Over the next few years, Earhart was the pilot on many flights that were very dangerous. Once, she flew from Hawaii to California. Many pilots had died trying to make this flight. A crowd of people greeted her after she landed. Earhart flew across the Atlantic Ocean again in 1932. She was the first woman to make this flight alone. She also started a club for women pilots. It was called the 99s because there were 99 members when the club began. By 1937, Earhart had been flying for 16 years. She was ready to stop, but first she wanted to make one more big flight. This time, she wanted to fly around the world. This map shows where she planned to fly. You can see her flight path with the red line. Fred Noonan flew with Earhart. They started their trip from Florida and the United States on May 21st, 1937. They flew over the Atlantic Ocean and traveled as far as Lae, New Guinea in the Pacific Ocean. Then, on July 2nd, their plane disappeared near Howland Island. No one ever found Amelia Earhart, Fred Noonan, or their plane. Amelia Earhart proved that a person can do amazing things if he or she is brave enough to try. And here in the back are words that you might know, a glossary. The end. Well, there's a lot that I could say about Amelia Earhart. I've watched a lot of documentaries and followed different trails that people have on what they think happened to her and Fred Noonan. You can look them up. There's lots of different theories. Hopefully one day they will solve this mystery. But I said earlier, I challenge you now, find somebody to look up, read a biography or an autobiography, even just a paragraph about somebody that you think is interesting, because biographies and autobiographies oftentimes sound really boring until you find someone that you want to know about, and then they can be super interesting and exciting. And I hope that this week you will find one that you think is interesting or exciting. If you do, email me and tell me about it. Can't wait to hear. See you next time. Bye.